Okay, streaming. Awesome. There we go. Hey guys, welcome in. We are just going live to start our 5-day EKG challenge. And I don't know about you, but I'm so excited to kick off the new year with a bunch of new EKG knowledge to both shake off the cobwebs, but also talk about some high risk things. So we are really excited. I'm going to go ahead and try to share my screen, and we will move this and get this all ready. And there we go. That should be working. So I think I can still see you in the chat. Looks like we've got everybody saying hi. So if you're on with us live, go ahead and say hi. It looks like we had Belen saying hi. And we're going to wait just a couple more minutes to officially start. Nancy's in the house. What's up, Nancy? So good to see your faces. And we have John. I can see your face. Hi, John. And yeah, so Michelle's on. Hey, Michelle. What's up? Janky, what's up? How are you? And Roxana and Rosanna, welcome in, everybody. So we are gonna go ahead and make sure I am in the right place on Facebook. You can join us in either place, by the way. And that's the great thing about this. This is also recorded. So if a lot of you have been asking me all day, is this recorded? I'm gonna go to sleep. Totally fine. It's gonna be recorded, so no worries. And yes, hi, Michelle, Happy New Year to you as well. And Karen. Oh, hi, Brian. Hi, nice to see you. Hello, hello. What's up, what's up? Okay, so let's get in the right group and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. Also, if you guys do have questions as we go along, put them in the chat and we can answer them for you. But let us know also in the chat what kind of provider you are, because we want to kind of tailor this to a little more specifically to you as we go along. So let us know in the chat what kind of provider you are. Are you EMS? Are you RN, PA, NP? We have some monitor techs I know. We have some students I know. Nice. We have NPs, RNs, PAs, FNP, PA students. Oh yeah, we have a lot of PA students here from Chapman, so welcome in. John, you're a medic. What's up, what's up? Cheyenne's a medic in second year nursing school. Yes, I remember you joined yesterday, I believe. I don't know you guys' names at all, huh? I don't pay attention at all. Okay, so Ireland, awesome. Okay, RN, what's up? RNs, we have lots of different, we have CRNA. So we have a lot of different. All right, so let's see. I think somebody is off mute. So try to stay off mute, you guys, until you have a question, and then we will maybe at the end allow time to come off mute and talk, but in the meantime, put it in chat. All right, so let's get started. Welcome in officially to the 5-day EKG challenge. A lot of you are still looking for the workbook. I just saw that come through the messages. So let us know in the chat if you still need the workbook, because we do have one for you, and we are still sending them out so you can print them. They look like this. So let us know if you still need them, and put hashtag workbook, and Tori, our wonderful assistant, will get them to you. All right, so let's go ahead and make sure we're on Facebook. So what are we going to do tonight? What are we spending our time on? So we are going to, Latoya needs a workbook, and so does Emily. Tori will be all over it. She'll get it to you, get you the link. So we're going to talk about some basic 12-lead concepts. We're going to give you a structured system to use when you are looking for a way to approach EKGs. We're going to talk about the conduction in the heart, and we're going to talk about the waves. We're also going to talk about the secret road map, okay? The secret road map to how to be successful at EKGs, okay? So I'm gonna share that with you as well. It looks like we have a couple folks, audio wasn't working, but yes, if you log back on, usually that fixes it. No worries, we'll see you when you get back. And in the meantime, speaking of how this works, if you miss a video, we're gonna do 5 nights live. If you miss a video, we're gonna record them and put them right up in the guide section. I'll show you where that is. And then also we're going to have a replay page that is gonna be emailed out. So a lot of folks are already on the email list. If you're not, go ahead and message me here. I'll save your text and we'll get you on the email list for the replay link. You don't have to do that though. You can absolutely go to the guide section and watch them there. So whatever makes life easier for you, okay? Now, how can you join classes? You're here on Zoom, welcome in. And if you're on Facebook, you can watch that way too. We don't care, we just want you to get the information, right? So we can interact with you, can see your faces, of course, if you come on Zoom, which we love. And it looks like we have a couple more comments that people are needing the email. Got it. Okay, Tori, I think you're seeing all these workbook requests, right? And then speaking of where can I get the workbook, we have Tori, who is on Zoom and Facebook with us, and she's going to be putting in a link so you can get the workbook. And then we also have sessions for CE. So if you are EMS, if you are RN, if you are NP or PA, you can get 2.5 hours of Category 1 CE for this challenge. And you just have to go ahead and watch the sessions, and then we give you a post-test and evaluation at the end. And we are around for questions if you have questions, especially for EMS. That's a requirement to get CE. We are available for questions. So don't even worry about that. We have Carl, speaking of EMS. And then Tori says she's getting ready to send the workbook link out to you guys in the chat here in Zoom. Okay, so it looks like we have a lot of folks on Zoom, and Tori will get you in a second. All right, so talking about where the recordings are. I actually put this slide in for the first time. I wanted to show you where this is. So in our Facebook group, hopefully you're all in there, we have a section called guides, and it's right here. Okay, I'm gonna actually take and see if my pen is working tonight. I think it is. And you can just go here in your Facebook group and you'll watch the guides here. Hi, Carl, what's up? But if you are just, if that's too hard, you can't find it, we do send out a replay link. We also post that replay link in the group. We try to get you this information like 3 different ways from Sunday. And then there's also a button I wanted to put your eye to here that you could invite any friends if you had somebody that wanted to come. We know Regina, what's up, Regina? I hope you're here. Regina just invited like 100 friends. So thank you. We're hoping to get them some really, really good info tonight. So you can hit that and invite any of your friends that want to do EKG with you. Okay, we advise having a buddy in here if you can. All right, now also there is a little schedule here, so you'll never know, you'll never be lost on what we're doing. It's always right here if you're confused. Speaking of if you're confused, what should you do? Oh, Melissa Mainville's here. You should absolutely reach out to our wonderful, my co-hostess with the mostest, Michelle Barkley. Okay, now she is around. Yes, Regina, I know, girlie, you did. Thank you for that. So you can reach out if I'm on live and I can't see your comments, please reach out to Michelle Barkley. She's the one who will tell you how to get to where you need to go. And Tori will be the one to get you the workbook. Okay, so because I can't always see your comments if you're messaging me to like Messenger, because I'm live with you, obviously. Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how to win. All right, and I think Tori just posted the workbook link. How to win in this EKG game. Okay, so I'm going to be your hostess. I happen to love the movie Top Gun. If you like Top Gun too, put hashtag Top Gun in the chat so I can see who my Top Gun fans are. This is me here. I'll be your EKG pilot. I'll be navigating you through the rough waters of the EKG. And our mission tonight, should you choose to accept, is to basically show up live for the next 5 nights if you can, or watch the recording and take the knowledge and share it with somebody else, right? Use it to save people's lives, because every life, oh, we have lots of Top Gun fans. All right, you guys, I love it. This is making me so happy. Definitely lighting my fire here. Okay, so we want to save all the lives, right? And we want you to save your licenses, and that's our mission, okay? So what is the benefit of being here for you? Now, if you're in EMS, I got to tell you that a lot of this may be a little more than you need. John, right? This may be a little more than you need as an EMS folk, but you know what? Where it will help you, and I know this because I was EMS for 13 years, it will help you know who to AMA and who not to. Now, the answer to that is always don't AMA, right? But ultimately, you have to pick up the EKG findings that are deadly. So we're going to talk about 4 deadly findings in this challenge. Now, if you're a nurse, you know that you save providers. I mean, you save patients, absolutely. But every time I work with nurses in the ER, they save me because they're my check and balance, right? And so a lot of times these bad things are being caught by RNs who are pointing it out to the providers. So I think we're just all on the same team. We all have the same goal. And of course, if you're a nurse practitioner or PA, right, the buck stops at us. We have to make sure we don't send the patient home if they have something lethal. Oh, we have lots of Top Gun fans. I love you guys. And then sports physicals on night 3 and 4. Those are really priceless nights for you to definitely not miss, okay? Because those are huge. Now, if we have some EKG techs in the group, I'm going to tell you a story. I have an EKG tech that works in my hospital, and she literally picked up 2 really high-risk things because she's taken this class. Her name was Monica, actually. NP, yes, Monica. So she picked up a couple high-risk things and saved some lives because of being in this class. So it doesn't matter what level you are. We want everybody to be saving the lives. Okay. All right. Now, also, we know we have students here and we love students. So very, very, very happy you're here. Okay. And who's our team? This is me. You probably saw my ad if you're joining us new or someone invited you, but basically I'm a PA, a cardiology PA and ER PA. And I started this group a couple years ago when I realized there was a big gap in what we were learning in school and what we were actually expected to know legally and professionally. And that left a big gap for us to fill because ultimately, a lot of people who went to school a long time ago, there's new findings that came through recently, even as of November 15th, that are put out by JACC, Journal of American Cardiology, about bad EKG findings that we don't really know, right? So the onus is on us. If the lawyers can find that info, right, you bet they're going to use it against us. So we have to be defensive here. And I want to make sure that you guys all are here for the win. Okay, so that's why I started this group. And then it turned out that I found some people along the way that absolutely were on this mission with me. And one of them is Michelle Barkley. She's here. I don't know, Michelle, are you able to come on live with us just to say hi so people can see your face? Michelle, are you here? I think I saw you. There you are. You may not be able to come off mute, but if you are, Michelle, are you there? There you are.
Yeah, there I am. Sorry, I couldn't get my thing to come off mute. Hey guys, how are y'all?
So Michelle is from Texas, and yes, so she brings a down home Southern vibe to our group, and you will learn about Michelle. That if there's anything you need, she will get it for you. She will reach the sun and the stars to get it for you. But Michelle, do you want to tell them a little bit about some of the fun things you have planned for us later in the week?
Oh, always a game, because that's my favorite thing to do, is to turn everything into a game for learning so that it makes it easy and non-threatening. That's kind of my thing. I've been CVICU for 37 years now, and the last 2 years teaching with Jennifer, and my background is cardiovascular transplant, and I am just having so much fun now doing this, so much fun. And this is an amazing group. Everybody is like always wanting to make sure you are there for success.
Tori just said your games are the best, and I agree. So we not only have serious learning, but we also have games. And so thank you, Michelle, for being here with us tonight. And she'll be here with us all the nights. So she's the one that's gonna help you the most, honestly, when I'm on live. Okay, so reach out to her. And then we also have David, who is he's our medic, who's our EKG guru, and he will pop in from time to time when he's not saving lives and will bless us with some awesome EKG pearls. And then we also have sometimes Megan will pop in as well. These are coaches in our 30-day challenge, but they do come on our 5-day one, which we're doing now, and pop in once in a while. So you may see them. Now, we're also going to have a bonus section. We're just getting all the housekeeping out of the way. We're going to have a bonus session tomorrow night. And this is another can't miss session. Okay, so a lot of you, when you came in this group, you said, hey, I really want to learn arrhythmias. And so we're going to do some active arrhythmias where they're dynamic on the screen for you tomorrow. And we're going to do a little arrhythmia review, including some heart blocks. So if heart blocks sound like the way to go for you, then definitely come tomorrow for our bonus session. Now, that is the only session that's not recorded, only because he won't allow us to record. Otherwise, we would. We understand it's late for some East Coast folks, but if you can stay up and catch it, it's definitely worth it. But anyway, it's no pressure if you can't. We just want to offer you the best resources out there. Now, the best news about all of this is that we have 2 scholarships we're going to be giving away this challenge. We're going to give away one Wednesday night, that's in 2 days, and we're giving away another one on Thursday. And the scholarships are for what are called our 30-day EKG challenge. I'm not going to talk too much about that because I want to get into the, that would be 9:15 East Coast, Deidre. So it is kind of late, but I want to talk about really quick. I want to get into our knowledge, but I just want you to know that there is some scholarships coming. Now, I don't know if you've noticed in the chat or if you've been in this group for a while that we are all about helping each other. We are all about setting each other up for success. Whether you're new or old to this group, you came here to us and we want you to win, okay? So we are giving away a scholarship this is in honor of my dad. He passed away 2 months ago. And the scholarship that's going to be given away in his honor is going to be for the person who helps other people in this group the most. That means, and I'm going to be watching you guys this week, okay? So that means if someone's struggling to find the live, you help them. If someone needs the workbook, maybe you share the link. If someone is like, I don't know this, and you can answer them when I'm live, or if not, like, please help them. And whoever's helping the most, I'm going to announce on Thursday to win this scholarship, because my dad was an amazing guy that would give everybody the shirt off his back. Okay, so I want to honor him, right? And he was a good guy. You can see, love my dad. All right, so the other scholarship we're giving away is, this is going to be Wednesday night. Okay, this is actually a scholarship donated by Chart Healthcare Academy. Okay, Chart Healthcare Academy, and they bought a scholarship already for our class that starts next week, the 30-day EKG challenge, and on January 9th, and it's going to be for a PA or NP. And so that will be given away on Wednesday night. So those are the 2 scholarships that we're going to be giving away. So those nights, Wednesday especially, it's important to be live. You can still win the other scholarship if you're not live. Again, you just have to help other folks. Okay, so 2 very generous scholarships being given away, and I can't wait to tell you more about that later in the challenge. But the CE, we're going to give the link away. This is our Michelle over here. We'll give the link away later in the challenge, so don't worry, that'll be provided for you. I think it's already up in the little featured posts as well of the 5-day challenge. Okay, so let's get into the lessons of tonight. I already kind of told you about me. I lecture all over the country. In fact, I'll be going around the East Coast later this year at the Skin, Bones, Hearts Private Parts Conference. So I'll hopefully get to meet some of you live. I do work in the ER and I do work in cardiology. I've been doing this for 14 years and I absolutely love it. But I just want to go back to my paramedic roots. So John, you can see there I am, actively a paramedic once. It's really true. I was a baby. He's like, peace. I was a baby here and very scared, clearly, but I didn't look it. And so, right. But what I was thinking in my mind at this time is, oh my gosh, someone gave the keys to the ambulance, right? And I need to be able to figure out, I'm the highest medical authority on scene, and I don't really feel comfortable with the things that are going to kill somebody on the 12 lead. So it kind of hit me really hard one night. So that night we were in that station there, and I went and sat down and made a list of all the things that could kill somebody. And so that's kind of, oh, it says the address is invalid. Okay, Marielle, maybe Tori can get it to you by email. So I made a list, and basically I was like, yeah, I'm going to catch these things that are dangerous. And so I put together 4 of them in this challenge for you to learn tonight or this week. So you could just get some quick wins. But tonight we're going to spend on doing the normal EKG. But before we go into the nuts and bolts of things, I wanted to show you some books that may look familiar to you. This was sort of my journey to learning the EKG. I started with not the purple book, the orange book in medic school. And then I realized that wasn't for me. Just didn't click. I then promoted on to the Advanced Field Cardiology as a Medic. That was a great book. And then on to this book, and eventually onto these books when I went into cardiology. But the problem is books are just books, and they don't always meet the bill. And so I feel like it's a combination of, you need to have someone kind of hold your hand. So that's the great thing about this challenge. You get a live component, you can ask questions, right? And you can also refer to the references. But here's the thing, and this is bad math, and I just want to kind of just call out the pink elephant in the room, is that we've been inundated with COVID. And I know a bunch of people that have been with us for a long time have been messaging me like, oh my gosh, we're overrunning the ER. Oh my gosh, we can't get out of clinic on time, right? And we all have COVID brain. Maybe you've had COVID and you have the fog, right? Or maybe you're just thinking about COVID all the time, and everybody who coughs has COVID. That hasn't been a thing ever, right? And so then you're set up with the machine software, which is only right 6 to 42% of the time. And then we have schools who weren't able to teach us enough, because not only is there not enough time, but there's new updates being given by the JAC, or American College of Cardiology, all the time. And we're busy. Combine that with all of those things, and it's a recipe for disaster. So what does that mean for us? It means that if you're here and you're taking the time to invest in your EKG future, that you're going to escape this madness. So we're really happy you're here. And I just want you to know that it's definitely worth it. So here's the secret roadmap that I put together on when I looked back at how I learned EKGs, and Tori's putting in the statistics 6 to 42% of the time. So I was not taught EKGs the right way either. And maybe it wasn't the right way for me, right? I'm not knocking my instructor, but it wasn't the right way for me. But when I look back, I was like, how's an easy way to get there? So you start with the basics. We're going to talk about those tonight. We're going to talk about what a normal EKG is, right? And so we're going to actually get the 2 steps of this pathway done tonight. And then if you keep going on, there's lots of other stuff to learn until you get to competence, right? But we're going to get this party started tonight. Okay, so this is the smile I got after I realized that roadmap, and you can have that smile too. Now, before, I know a lot of you were thinking like, okay, Jen, that's great and everything that I need to know the EKG, and your statistics are fantastic. Thank you so much. But I'm just going to use the software interpretation because like I don't have time to learn EKGs. Well, here's the thing. Let's just, the machine is not always right. Okay. Yes, the statistics of 6 to 42% are there, but here's the thing. This machine is saying that this patient's QT is 713. Now the normal QT is no longer than 460, but this QT is super long. And if you sent this patient to the hospital with a QT of 713, they'd be like, oh, well, actually, the QT is not 713. But how would you know that if you really can't see what's going on? How you would know that is the secret formula. You find a T wave you can actually see, which is right here. You go R to R, which is right here. And if it falls less than halfway between the R and R, it's not yet 500. Therefore, the machine is incorrect. And so the bottom line is we're going to talk about what makes a normal ECG, but you have to have no artifact. The machine is seeing the artifact and it's faking it out. And this actually, when we redid it, was only 444. So you can see that there's lots of room for error. I'm going to show you a case at the end of tonight too, which is going to blow your mind. Absolutely blow your mind. I can't wait. But anyway, let's go back to foundations. Okay, so the foundations. Let's talk about what is an EKG even looking at. I don't understand how this flat object corresponds to this 3D object. So the paper and the heart, how does it correspond? Well, here's the thing. You have to understand that the heart has 4 parts, and I'm going to talk about that. But we're looking at the electricity on the EKG, which is basically telling us a story. And it's telling us a story about the plumbing. And it's telling us about the size of the walls. And it's telling us sometimes about the valves. But essentially, if you think of the heart like a house, every house has plumbing, so does the heart, the vessels. That's why we call the people, the cardiologists on our team, plumbers who do, stents, right? And then the electricity conduction in the heart, that's what we call our electrophysiologists, electricians. We say that lovingly because, that's kind of the slang, right? That's what they do. And then the walls are like the muscle, and then the doors are like the valves. So doors cannot open well. They can also not close well, just like a valve. So it totally makes sense. And the EKG is telling us about a lot of those, but it's telling us about the conduction first and foremost. So let's focus on that. All right, now let's put you guys to the test. Okay, so type in the chat, what wave is this here? What wave is this? Okay, this is the first wave we're looking at. We're looking at this to make sure that, oh, everybody's got the P wave. Okay, good. Okay, we're looking at that to make sure that there is the sinus node in charge. You guys are on top of it. I love it. Okay, nothing's going to get by you. All right, tell me about this wave here. What is this wave right here? Q. Yes, good job. All right. And this is, yes, the QRS complex. I saw that. Yes, good job on Facebook. Good job on Zoom. Okay. And then this is the QRS complex, but this top one here is the R wave. Good. Okay. That's definitely showing us how big the ventricle is. We don't want it to be too big. And then this wave here is the S, right? S wave. This wave here is the, type in the chat for me. Ooh, Margaret is the fastest typer. And then we have this over here. We shouldn't have this wave. This is called the, yes, the U wave. Very good. Okay, so we shouldn't have the U wave. We hope to have every other wave. And great, you guys did good. So let's do the next set of things. Now, a couple of rules about the waves that are super helpful for you to know. The P wave shouldn't be too close to the QRS. The QRS shouldn't be too wide, and it shouldn't be too tall or too small. Okay, does somebody want to type in the chat for me if you have a QRS that's super small? What's the worst thing that we have to worry about? Yes, Carmen, it's a U, absolutely. If we have, oh, hi, Zach, how's it going? Torsades, ooh, yes, torsades with a prolonged QT, Nikki, yes, absolutely yes, okay? So, oh, Victoria, yes, you can tell Victoria has been in my world for a while. Victoria, SVT, yeah, we don't want to see SVT, Cornelia, I agree. So in a fusion, if your QRS is really small, there's potentially something in the way. right? So if the electricity is coming from the, let me see if I can move you guys down. If the electricity is coming from the, there we go, the chest, right? It's coming from the heart and going up to the chest, and we're measuring that with a 12 lead, then we don't want anything to be in the way. So sometimes if fluid's in the way, that can cause the QRS to be really small. This here is the QT. We don't want that to be too long. As Nikki said, we could lead to torsades. And the T wave, we want it to be upright, and we don't want it to be pointy. If you have a pointy T wave, what thing do you have to worry about? And James also said cardiomyopathy. That's also true. Sometimes you can see big R waves with cardiomyopathy or small ones. Yes, so pointy T's, everybody's getting the hyperkalemia. Good job, you guys. No pointy T's in our world. We do not want pointy T's, okay? Now, let's talk about conduction and just really quickly go through, we talked about the waves, but what's actually happening here? Yes, Melissa Mainville, Melissa Rosario. Oh my gosh, the Melissa squared in the house. Okay, so real quick, we've got the SA node, which makes the what wave? Type in the chat. The SA node makes the what wave? Let's see how many of you guys got it. Yes, good job. Okay. And then it sends the impulse down to the AV node. Okay. And that sends it down to the bundles and then down to the little Purkinje fibers. Okay. And this happens in an organized fashion. Now, if you know that the sinus node makes a P wave and you see a rhythm like this, but it's still narrow, complex, and regular, and we'll talk more about rhythms tomorrow, but in a nutshell, what rhythm is this up here on the screen? What rhythm is this on the screen? Yes, everybody's getting it. Good job. Junctional. Yes. Okay, good. And this is a junctional. Okay. Now, that would be consistent with a rate of 40 to 60. Now, the next thing to happen if that dies is you'll start going down into the ventricles. You'll start getting a wider QRS, more than 0.12, and it's still regular, but slow. So what do we call this? This one's harder. It's 20 to 40. Thank you, Tori, for getting the workbook out. I appreciate it. And let's see. This is, I'm sorry, Facebook is going crazy right now. Idioventricular, so Shana and Belen, yes. And Cornelia, yes, this is idioventricular. It's wide, regular, and slow. And then finally, the last thing to see when everything above it goes out is the rhythm here that's got a somewhat unorganized but wide complex. And this is a 20 to 40, also known as agonal. Cornelia, strong work. Belen, Shana, nice. Okay, good. And that's the conduction. Now we hope to only have sinus, of course, but sometimes that's not always the case. Now let's talk about what the normal EKG looks like. Nearly dead. Yes, I agree. So let's talk about that and how to spot it. Now this is, I don't know if I've introduced him. This is my dog Remington. And he sometimes actually gives us EKGs on our Facebook page, or he gives us EKGs to look at in the group sometimes. He's a good EKG reading dog. Okay, so let's talk about what normal looks like. Now, this is a normal EKG. And by that, how do we know it's normal? Is it normal because it says normal? Or is there other reasons that it might be normal? Well, let's take a look at it. Now, the first thing you need to know is that when you have an EKG, it has to have a no ectopy, right? Or I'm sorry, no artifact, because as you already saw, it fakes out the machine. So it needs to be a clean tracing. We also need to have our QRSs, our R waves, pointing up in 1, 2, and 3. Okay. There's another rule we need to understand about the T wave too. The T wave is very important. And I'm going to see how many people know this one. Okay. This is a little, yes, Cornelia says P waves are present. Yes. So let me ask you guys a question. What leads are the T waves supposed to be inverted, meaning facing down? There's only two, right? There's only two leads the T wave is supposed to be facing down. Yes, Nikki in the house, Victoria, yes, Lala and Belen, yes. So they're supposed to be inverted in AVR and V1. That's why I have the arrows. Melissa Mainville in the house. So Mary says regular rhythm and a QRS has a P wave. Yes, these are very good. Good. Okay, so first things first, we have a P, like Mary said, a nice skinny QRS, a T wave. We have a regular R to R. And we have all the intervals up here, which are the numbers at the top. They meet all of our criteria. Okay, the heart rate is between 60 and 100, check. The PR interval is between 120 and 200, check. The QRS right here is the width of the QRS, right? It's under 120, check. You have a QT that is 446. It needs to be under 460. So check. And the axis right here is the 51 is supposed to be 0 and 90. And that is normal. Okay. Now, the last thing that I want to point out to you is a very important concept that you may or may not have heard before. And that's okay if you haven't. We're going to tell you about it right now. So there's a segment on the EKG that doesn't get a lot of attention, but really should. It's right here. It's at the end of the T, the beginning of the P. Okay, end of the T, beginning of the P. Can you guys see that? Okay, that's called the TP segment. All right, let me get out of here. Sorry. Clear all my drawings. Get out of here. So the TP. Somebody just burped. That was funny. Okay, so the TP segment is the part that's supposed to be flat. Okay, and that's what we're going to use to line up. So let's go over here. We need to draw a line. Actually, that's not a good line. Let me get a different one. We need to draw a line from the TP all the way over on every line of our EKG. Now, some people will say, do I need to do this on every line of the EKG? And the answer is yes. And the reason why is because this is where you look for ST elevation. So right here is the TP, the flattest line. You use that and you make a line across. And you look right here. I'm going to basically take some yellow right here and you look for ST elevation. Okay, you look for depression or elevation that's significant, meaning one box. One box. Okay. All right. So it's a baseline for measurements. Yes. So this is actually, let me just go back. So good question, Mary. Here is the intervals right here. Okay. And these are the numbers that we use to see if the heart rate is normal. It is. We look at the PR, the QRS, and these are all the reference ranges right here. Okay. We're not going to dive too deep into that, but I just wanted to make sure you had the normals so you know what to look for so that you know if an EKG is normal. Yeah. So this is really basic concept stuff. Okay. Just basic waves, basic size of things. Okay. And then you're looking for any ST segment changes right here. That's a really critical spot. This is where we spend a lot of time because if we miss ST elevation or ST depression, then that's a game changer and someone could die. So that's where we want to start. Okay. Is with looking at all the normals. Now, let me show you the opposite of normal. So what you may see here, yes, isoelectric line James. And Samantha, you're here, yay. Yes, okay. Donna, did you have a question? If you have a question, just put it in the chat and we'll go ahead and answer if you have a question. Okay. Okay, so this is going back to what is abnormal. So if you look over here, these T's, remember these T's, okay? These T's are inverted and symmetric. Inverted and symmetric, okay? These ones are upright. This is the absolute opposite of what we just said is normal. Because remember, we just said that these two leads are supposed to have inverted T waves and everything else is supposed to be upright. This EKG is literally the opposite, okay? It has a lot of flags to tell you that, but at the end of the day, this is not a normal EKG. So let me go back. This is normal, right? And this is abnormal, just to give you kind of a baseline. So a real obvious abnormal one and a real normal one, okay? So the T waves that I'm pointing to should be upright. All the T waves should be upright except for the inverted ones. All right. Now here's a list of all the things we look for we just talked about. We're looking for all the waves following the rules, right? The P wave, it's nice and far away from its QRS, not too close. The voltage isn't too small, too tall. The axis is normal. There's no EKG, and it's a good quality tracing. Okay, that's kind of our checklist that we use. But speaking of checklists, we also not only wanted to give you the waves, the things that are normal about the waves, but also we wanted to give you a 10-step approach. Now, you can, in your workbook, we made a little handout that has this list right here. If you want to write these down so you can follow along. So not only did we want to have resources for you to go back and think about the waves. In fact, on your workbook page 1, and we'll put the answers in tomorrow for you. You have our EKG from today and some questions to answer if you want to practice. This is by no means something you have to do, but only if you wanted to. Like if you really wanted to dive deep into this and really start to practice, you could. But this is the 10-step system that we use, okay? Now this 10-step system is really important when you're new and you're first looking at an EKG, because unfortunately EKGs can be overwhelming and you can get stuck on little things that pop out like, ooh, that T wave is biphasic, and you can like totally head there, but miss the STEMI. So this keeps you in an organized fashion so that you go through the system. Now, the first thing I'm going to explain and the last thing I'm going to explain, the rest of them are kind of self-explanatory, they explain themselves. Okay, so I'm going to show you that if you have a patient who is really, really pale, cool, and diaphoretic, and they have chest pain and they're kind of slinking against the gurney, right? That's someone, if you look at them, they're big sick. But the same is true for the EKG. If you have an EKG with a STEMI, or someone who's in asystole, or someone who has VTAC, for example, you're not going to go through this 10-step system. You're going to stop what you're doing and you're going to get the patient help, whatever that looks like. Maybe you're in the clinic, you call 911. Maybe you are 911 and you have to address it, or you're the ER. And the last, so if you're a little sick and you're not dying of STEMI, you can go ahead and go through the rest of the steps, looking at the rate, the rhythm, the intervals, the ST segments like we just showed you, looking at the T waves, which way do they point? We can look at the QRS complex, is it not too wide? And we can then do something at the very end called the chief complaint-based approach. So these are my chief complaint-based approach glasses. Do you all have some of these? They're hearts. So this is a funny, but literally at the end of your looking at your EKG, I always go back in with those special eyes and I look specifically for things. So for example, if I have a shortness of breath patient, I'm looking really, really hard at the axis. Nikki says she loves it. Hi, Nikki. I'm looking hard at the axis because pulmonary embolus patients can sometimes have rightward axis. Okay, so that would be something I would specifically look for. And if they have chest pain, I'm really going to be scrutinizing their ST segments to make sure I'm not missing a very subtle STEMI, right? So that's kind of the last thing where you go back in with your chief complaint-based eyes and you look at all the things before you leave the EKG, okay? Yes, that's how I sort my patients too, Mary. And I learned that as a paramedic and it just stuck with me and it's been really helpful. There's another mantra I learned that's very helpful when I was a paramedic, and it was think worst first. Have you guys ever heard that statement before? Think worst first? Because when you have somebody who is like having chest pain and grabbing their chest, but they seem anxious, right? Then it probably is anxiety, but you think worst first. It's a STEMI till it's not, right? It's a AAA till it's not, because that's the way you don't get burned. Okay, you always think worst first. That's because you're smart. Okay, now if you use this every time, then you rule out what can kill, then move on. Exactly. Words, Monica, perfect mantra. Okay, so this is the 10-step approach, and I use this every time so I don't get burned, so I don't miss anything, and that way I stay in my lane. I can stay safe. Okay, and so can you guys see the power in having a system? Can you see the power in knowing the numbers of the intervals and knowing the specific rules for the waves? Because this is where you start. This is where you start laying the foundation. So put a yes or a no in the chat. Mary, I love death until proven otherwise. Totally agree. I wonder, Mary, are you in EMS? All right, good. Okay, cool. So a lot of folks are saying yes. All right, now let's keep going. I have another one thing I want to show you.
Oh.
Donna, are you wanting to add something?
No.
Okay, no worries. All right, so, okay, let's talk about this EKG. This is the thing I wanted to share with you. And this is the case that we had earlier. And so basically, let's see. Okay, so this is the EKG that I wanted to show you from earlier. So this is the case that's going to help you put it all together, but also to test your skills a little bit, okay? So remember when we talked about our 10-step system? Let's talk about that for a minute. So the 10-step system, do we have big sick or little sick? So what do you guys think? Let's do this together. And this is a scary looking EKG, right? We have EKG saying there's an acute MI. Okay, so it's not wrong to go big sick. Okay, absolutely not wrong. And this patient is here in the clinic, let's say, with chest pain. Okay, all right, so everybody's agreeing big sick. It's chest pain with an acute STEMI. It's big sick till proven otherwise. That way we don't get burned. So yes, I agree. Now, when we look at this, the ST segments, we have to go straight there. Now, whenever you have a STEMI accusation, that's the first place you have to go. You don't do the 10 steps. You go straight to solve, is it a STEMI or not, okay? So let's go over here. Now, again, I wanted to show you the very important segment that we talked about earlier, the TP segment. So that is right here, the TP segment, okay? End of the T, beginning of the P. You can see that you've got, if you measure this out, this starts to show you that there's a little bit, so this is how this actually works in real time, okay? We have a STEMI accusation EKG here. So are you guys seeing some ST elevation? Do you guys think we're onto something here? Okay, I'm gonna go see what your chats say. You guys said yes, 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 yes. Okay, everyone's seeing ST elevation. Okay, so would we be wrong to send this patient to the emergency room? They've got chest pain, they're 68, they have risk factors. It's not wrong, right? Okay, so you've done your ST segments, you've done your due diligence, you sent them to the hospital. But does anybody want to guess if this patient's going to go to the cath lab? Does anybody want to guess? How many of you would say yes? Okay, yeah. So the patient did actually go to the cath lab. Yeah, the patient did. Okay, and so Ron, okay, you might be onto something there, Ron. Okay, so think about in your mind what the definition of STEMI is. A lot of you said, hey, I see ST elevation, definitely in 2-3 and AVF, it's significant, right? Okay, now I'm going to clear this and I'm going to show you the repeat EKG, because if you're ever unsure, the answer is always to repeat. Okay, so I'm going to clear this and I'm going to show you the next EKG, because I also want to share one thing with you. This is what unfortunately is true. Okay, 20% of the millions of dollars awarded in malpractice against the ER, and honestly, ER is not alone, is missed ACS. So it's a good thing that we sent that patient to the emergency room, right? Because we didn't want to miss the ACS. We caught it. And, you know, we also know that the machine doesn't always catch it, right? The machine can be wrong, false positive. We know that they can miss inferior STEMI. This one definitely said there was a STEMI. It can miss 23% of anterior STEMI. So this is a serious thing, right? So that's why we have to scrutinize EKG, but I want you to think about something. Okay, we repeated the EKG. Here it is. And it's still showing ST elevation, okay? But I want you to think about the definition of STEMI. I want you to think about that in your mind, okay? Think about the definition of STEMI. You know you have to have 2 leads with ST elevation, okay? 2 leads of ST elevation, and we definitely have that. But what's the rest of that story? There's more to that story, okay? What is, let's see if we have any chats, because this is a really good case. 2 up, 2 down, Samantha. Okay, Samantha and Margaret. So Samantha's EMS, and she, yes, it's so scary. Yes, Melissa, 2 up, 2 down. Okay, EV says 2 down. Good. All right, so STEMI, we have to have 2 up, 2 down. We'll just say that for general purposes, because mostly that's true. We won't get into like the nitty gritty details because we're trying to do basics, but yes. Okay, so what happened if you were to see ST depression is you would look over here. You do not have any ST depression. You do not have any ST depression here either. And that's where you would look for what are called reciprocal changes, okay? So when they took this patient to cath lab, and you know what they found? His arteries were completely wide open. And his chest pain, he said, and his chest and shoulder pain that he had got better when he took a Motrin. So what do you think his final diagnosis was? Ooh, did the patient have COVID? And I like where you're going with that. And because, what were you thinking? And I don't want to spoil your thunder. So what are you thinking with that? Mary says no reciprocal changes. In Innis. Innis. Ooh, Nikki, love where you're going with that. That is definitely a possibility. Broken heart syndrome, aka Takotsubo's, but it wasn't. Okay. And Shauna and Jackie and Margaret and some other folks are saying pericarditis. And yes, this was a pericarditis patient. Okay. So what would you have listened for on his exam? What would you have listened for on his exam? Something pertinent. But I think what you were maybe going for, Innis, was maybe a myocarditis potentially. Maybe I didn't want to steal your thunder, but yes, you'd be listening for a rub. Okay, pericarditis. Yes, Brian. Okay, so this was a pericarditis. You might hear a rub, but you don't have to have a rub. It doesn't make it not pericarditis. And Mary says, I wonder if it's fluid around the heart because of all the elevation. So actually, pericarditis in the early stages, acute, does cause ST elevation. And you don't have to have fluid around the heart, believe it or not. And if you had muffled heart sounds, Mary, you'd be worried about like an effusion or a tamponade. And thank goodness this gentleman did not have that. So he's doing well now, thankfully, and didn't have any occlusions. But remember, the machine is not always right, okay? This was actually overridden by a cardiologist with the final diagnosis, and this was an acute pericarditis. So I just wanted to show you some cases where the machine was not right, and that's why it's good that you're investing the time to be here. This is another one just to show you, not that we're going to deep dive on pericarditis, but this is another example of the machine calling it a STEMI, but it wasn't, okay? There's lots of ST elevation, and there's no depression. So really important to go ahead and take this EKG software stuff with a grain of salt, okay? Because whenever it says STEMI, remember, go right to your ST segments and draw that line and see if it's really true. Because you don't want to send somebody who's not a STEMI to the cath lab if you can help it, right? All right, now this is the benefit of making the lines on every single set of leads. And this really helps you draw out the elevation or depression, okay? And there is no depression, which is why we think it's pericarditis. And this actually was. Okay, so it wasn't a STEMI, no machine, you are wrong. Now, we're finally to tonight's giveaway. This is my husband, John, and he has been working today on the giveaway for tonight. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you what it is, okay? All right, so let me go ahead and show you the prize for tonight. Now, also, if you still need the workbook, I know Tori thankfully put it in the link for us. You can download it and you can print it out and work on it. We're going to give you the answers to the first couple pages tomorrow if you want to, but of course, no pressure. But the prize for tonight is this. The prize is this box. This is a EKG workshop kit, and one of you lucky folks are going to win this tonight, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you put in a hashtag. I'm going to come back on live and announce the winner, and then I'm going to put it in the mail for you tomorrow. So this will be on its way to you if you win. All you had to do tonight to win this was to show up, which is pretty cool, right? So let me show you what's in here in case you guys are interested in winning this. Now, this is a box. And Erica, I know you've gotten one of these before. You've joined our 30-day challenge. But inside this box are a couple things. Now, the first thing that I love so much is there's actually a tool in here that is going to come with a red line that helps you find the ST segment elevation or depression, so you don't have to draw. It also has a way for you to look at the ST segment, or sorry, the TP segments, and that will be coming to you. It's called the RCAT window. This is going to be yours should you win. There's also a workbook full of 17 EKGs, okay, 17 EKGs that are real EKGs, and they'll still be coming for you for practice, okay? So these are really good ones, this one especially. I love this one. So that'll be on its way to you, okay? But that's not all. You're also going to get a cheat sheet, which I'm not going to show you because this is actually has so much good stuff on it. And then also this normal EKG, okay? And you're going to get this so you can draw on it and color code the reciprocal changes and contiguous leads. And I'm going to give you a set of crayons to go with it right here. So you can color in those and practice. And finally, whoever wins this box tonight is going to get a painting that I painted this week. And its message is peace, okay? It comes with a little easel, and this is going to come to you should you win, okay? So the hashtag, if you want to win this, is all you have to do is put in hashtag EKG. So easy, right? Hashtag EKG, and that'll put you in the running. I will go ahead and I will write your names down. This is so old school, but I love doing this way. I'll write your names down on these papers, and then I will draw the winners. So you just have to put hashtag EKG, and then we'll go ahead and, yep, Charisse is already in, and looks like we've got a lot of other people putting in stuff. So yes, okay, lots of potential winners. So I'll jump on live. You guys don't have to be on live to know if you win. You can find out tomorrow and we'll actually post it for you, so no worries. And does anybody have any questions before we hop off for tonight? We're trying to keep these sessions short and sweet for you. And we'll come back on, like I said, and announce the winner of that. Can you buy it if you don't win? Actually, yes, you can. Message me and I'll give you the details. But yeah, it's a super fun kit. So any questions before we hop off for the night? Anyone at all have any questions? Type them in the chat and we'll try to answer them for you. Is Remy home? He is. He's in the other room. He's reading some EKGs for us. Great first night. Thanks, Monica. So happy to have you. Same time tomorrow, Latoya. Absolutely. It's 5:30 every night. Ooh, we have somebody with a TV on in the background, I think. Any other questions from anybody? Oh my gosh, you feel less dumb already. Yay. That's a happy thing. Okay, awesome. So we will see you back tomorrow. And if you have questions, type them in the chat in the regular Facebook group, and I'll be back on in just a few to announce the winner. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.